we also have things going on. So hi everybody, and welcome to the Golden Diamonds. It's what's the date today? It's the 9th.
The 9th.
Yeah, it's the 9th. It's the 9th of December. That's okay. I struggle to remember what day it is at the moment. Never mind the date. Yeah. So wonderful to see all you guys. And one of the things that I mentioned in the little note that I put out with the connection details was that it would be really nice to perhaps open up the conversation to speak about courage and the rising of the phoenix. And as sort of sorting through paperwork over the last couple of days, I picked up 2 poems, and they really talked to me. They really spoke to me because, you know, in our monthly teleclasses, the concept of courage has actually come up quite a bit, as has the phoenix rising, because that's what we are. You know, we are rebirthing the human form, so technically we are the phoenix rising from the ashes of the old human, because we're at the forefront of all of that. So I thought it would be lovely to read you the poem, read you what I've got here, and then open it up so that we can actually chat about what that means for us, and perhaps where we have found courage in our own lives to go against the flow. Because as we well know, with what's happening at the moment, so many of us are either standing our ground or actively moving against the flow. Hi, Linda. Lovely to see you. It's been a long
Hi,
time.
strangers.
Yes. Where are you in the world? Oregon.
I'm not sure.
Join the club.
Well, I just got back from the beach. I've been up since sunrise and I hadn't had a shower, so but I just trying to catch up with you girls. I'm actually in Florida now.
You're Florida.
Yeah, I'm back in Florida. Somebody came and bought our house in Oregon, and so
wow.
I packed up my crystals and my important things, and here I am. My husband's home having a garage sale in Oregon, and then he'll be here.
Wonderful. You'll be there. Will he be there for Christmas?
No, I don't think he's going to make it for Christmas. I think he's stopping in Arizona to see his family there. Of course, they won't let him in the house, but they're going to meet in a park.
Well, good.
Yeah.
There's always a way. There's always a way.
There's always a way. They'll have a good time.
Yeah. In South Africa, they've got a wonderful expression, which is a boer maak 'n plan. And they say it often, a boer maak 'n plan. And literally translated, that means a farmer always makes a plan. And the South Africans as such are really good at that, because with all the sanctions and everything else they've had to endure over the years, they always find a way. They find a way round the issue or through the issue. It's just, it breeds creativity. So you always make a plan. Yeah.
Yeah. There's lots of creativity going on. I guess that's part of the plan.
That's part of the plan. Absolutely. Yeah. Oh, it's lovely to see you, Linda. It's been a long time.
You guys are always close by in my heart, but it's been pretty crazy.
Where are you, Linda? Where are you in Florida?
Over on the Gulf side, by Punta Gorda. It's south of Sarasota.
Okay.
Yeah, we've been over in that area for a while, and anyways, yeah, when I've been gone for over 2 months, because we took off from Oregon when all the fires were in our town, and we put on 15,000 miles driving all over the country.
Wow.
And it was really interesting. I mean, so it was good. And I came back for 1 week and said, I'm done here. I cannot live here anymore. The West Coast is, even though, we went out there because our kids are out there and grandkids, but so be it. Not for me.
What town in Oregon were you? Sorry.
We were in Ashland.
Oh, okay. Is that nearer the coast? Yeah, it will be.
Yeah, and it's just not where I want to be anymore. And it's beautiful.
Mhm.
Many, as every place, there's many good things that are really good, and then there's things that are, if they don't resonate with you. But I did lots of energy work out there, uh, and that's why I was there. And now I'm back in Florida and resuming stuff here, so it's all good.
That's all good. And in fact, that ties in actually so beautifully as well with the courage thing, because so often it's about having the courage to just flow with and move with whatever our heart is guiding us to and prompting us to, and then it becomes a flow with ease and following that impulse.
Yeah, and that is
So,
definitely the
courage.
times we're in right now. And of course, I've always been that way, so
Yeah.
it's nothing new for me. But I'm not like most people. And Rachel, I have to say, I was enjoying your light language walking on the beach this morning. Wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you.
I love the new stuff you brought in. That is amazing.
Well, maybe at the end of this, Rachel, if you are up for it or you'd like to share some light language towards the end of the session, that would be
Yes.
a wonderful thing to
Okay.
take with us from today.
Okay, yeah, see what comes through.
See what comes through. Okay, so just you might want to close your eyes for a moment and just notice what resonates with you as I read through. This is the first little poem on courage. So it says, courage is the strength to stand up when it's easier to fall down and lose hold. It is the conviction to explore new horizons when it's easier to believe what we've been told. Courage is the desire to maintain our integrity when it's easier to look the other way. It is feeling happy and alive and moving forward when it's easier to feel sorry for ourselves and stay. Courage is the will to shape the world when it's easier to let someone else do it for us. It is the recognition that none of us are perfect when it's easier to criticize others and fuss. Courage is the power to step forward and lead when it's easier to follow the crowd, their pleas resound. It is the spirit that places you on top of the mountain when it's easier to never leave the ground. The foundation of courage is solid, the rock that does not roll. Courage is the freedom of our mind, body, and soul. Author unknown. Aren't those words? When I read it, I just thought, this is something there's something in there for every single one of us with the path that we are walking at this moment. And it's a real acknowledgement. So what was in there that really resonated with you guys, that might have struck you? Yeah, Linda, you're on mute.
I have to say that just brought tears to my eyes. It was very emotional for me to hear that. And I still am. I think because I personally really resonated with that. I mean, that's how I live my life, and most people don't understand it, but it's okay. And I know that through this whole journey of this past year, that more and more people are, living their lives that way, and it's I think it's a good thing. So thank you for sharing that. It's beautiful.
Yeah. Thank you, Linda. And I think it's often the reason it felt very emotional for me too, because I recognize myself in so much of this, uprooting everything and leaving the country that I was successful and comfortable in, and going to a whole other country with nothing, basically. is a major thing. And a lot of the steps I've taken along the way have just, each step has made it a little bit easier to follow the conviction and have the courage the next time. The courage to stand up with the diamond light work when nobody knew what I was talking about, which a lot of you guys know. And I think just reading through that, when we have the emotional connection, it's like an acknowledgement at the deepest level of your being. And that's what these words actually speak to. So I don't know if any of the rest of you have anything you'd like to add. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, it was making me feel, sort of seeing the journey I've taken from childhood, and not fitting in, and going in your own direction, but trying so hard to go in the direction that people want you to go in, and that resistance, constant inner pull to go in another direction, and having the courage to be different to other people, to be the crazy one, to be the weird one, to be the one that what the heck are you talking about type thing. And this last year especially, just coming more into who I am and seeing myself. And it's okay if people don't see the world through the eyes that I see the world. There are so many more of you now that I can connect with, which just gives me that sense of, this is who I came here to be. And I do go into town, like I said, I take my mum shopping once a week. I don't wear a mask. I walk around as a sovereign being. It's the way I say it. I don't feel I'm in resistance to it. And I just feel like I'm now flowing through my life, because I'm in the place where I fit. I'm not trying to fit into everybody else's way of thinking. I don't see that. I don't watch the television, so I don't know what the headlines are. I don't see the newspapers. So, like what you were saying about the headlines before, that doesn't exist in my world. It's literally like that. It doesn't exist in my world. And, apart from going on to Facebook and YouTube or something, I don't see what those people are living in. I can feel it. I can definitely feel what's going on. But I know now that I don't need to engage with it, because I'm doing and being who I came here to be. And now I've got the courage to say, this is who I am, and that was very relevant for me. So yeah, thank you very much.
Beautiful. Speaks to the heart. They are words that speak to the heart. Thank you, Rachel. No one else have anything they'd like to share with us?
Oh, I do.
Oh, good.
It's interesting. I think about, I've always felt different because my family was different. My parents had the wisdom to move us out of a suburban neighborhood out into the country, which I never understood till I was much older. And I think the four of us were very tender souls, all of us, and needed that. My dad was into vitamins long before it was a cool thing. There were just things that we weren't allowed to do. We were more protected. Some of it came from dysfunction, which I realized when I got my college degree, but some of it was very, very healthy. But I always felt different. So I think to begin with, I came in feeling different with three brothers as a girl. And then as I went through my different careers, I don't know if I guess I knew I was different, but I didn't think it took courage. You guys will laugh. I taught school. That was my first career, and it was rural, upstate New York. So these were farmers, educated, but this was very rural. This other fourth grade teacher and we took all the desks out of the classroom, till I learned that some kids needed desks and some didn't. I taught in Woodstock, New York, and we made maple syrup. I realized both principals were supportive of us. But I remember talking to my peer teacher, who in fourth grade, we both said, oh my gosh, but we were like transplants. We knew we were different going in. I don't think at that time it bothered me as much as it did as I got older. I don't know why. I don't know if it's because I went out into the workforce and I was always doing different things in my counseling practice. And trying to be very careful to bridge that science versus energy modality. And I guess it took courage to do that. I never thought about it taking courage, but I think it did because I never walked the mainstream path. And then Rachel sent a video with that JCK and Charles Eisenstein. It's something he wrote in 2009. It's the second time I've heard it. And it talks about that shamanic tribe and that we were all there in the light and wouldn't have even thought about the pain that we have on this earth and how we came here. We chose this mission, but we forgot everything. And that brought tears to my eyes because I thought, as you were reading, Julie, I just thought about the courage we must have as spirits, but not really thinking that spark of light that we are, because when we're in that energetic light space and not in the human body, we know the truth. We know, but I think it does take a lot of courage to do what we're doing. And more people are doing, speaking up, whether it's to, I got so triggered, poor Rachel last night. Julie, I had sent something that Rachel had sent to my brother. And I mean, I really respect my brother and he's very energetic, but boy, he gets on that. Well, that's bullshit. Well, that's bullshit. Well, that's male stuff that I lived with my dad and brothers. But it just so triggered me last night. And I think, Rachel, you made a comment. I think then I question, am I really on that page? Am I being silly? Am I really being courageous, or am I just, not thinking? Is all I think really a bunch of bullshit, So I do think it takes courage to stand in our light. And I really realized last night, courage isn't necessarily me speaking up to him who can't hear me. Courage is me creating a community and inviting 15 women and having one show up and understanding that it's important for me to do this, to have the courage not to be dissuaded by that, but knowing as we stay in this group, that light, each one of us shines, and we shine collectively in this diamond community, makes a big difference. And the courage is, for me, holding on to that and remembering that and standing up in the places I need to stand up. I went to the car dealer. I sort of assess, because in Florida, it's interesting how they've changed, because our governor has said, no, you don't have to do whatever, but our local county has said you wear a mask. So now places are saying, we are required to ask you, and you can almost see that they don't want, some of them don't care one way or the other. Well, the car dealer, I made sure I had something to eat, because COVID can't get to you if you're eating. So I was totally away from the 4 people in there, because I don't want to infringe on anybody else. It isn't necessary. As Rachel is saying, walking in her own space, I am sovereign. I'll stand up if I need to, but I'm not in a place that I really want to be, get into an argument with you, So I had my food, my little bit in my little corner, had my mask off. It was fine. But I just think for me, I have to choose. I know I can choose not to go someplace. I choose certain places because I don't like the energy. I don't like the fear. Other places, I'm not going to take the time to say, listen, there's less than 10 people in here. I don't need to have a mask on. So for me, that's courage. Make the decision where to stand up. Who do I talk to? Who do I not? Is that really what I need to be doing? My courage is to stand in my light and continue to do what I'm doing.
Because you are holding, thank you, Bunny. It's so much of that is about holding your position against the flow. And that takes an incredible amount of power. So it's not the pushing back those who are being really vocal against the flow. It's holding, it's like the dike, you know, it's holding back the flow because you are standing in your light and in your position. And it takes a great deal of strength and courage. And that's what I loved about this, because there's so many definitions and they apply to each of us in different ways and in very personal ways. And I felt it was really appropriate to acknowledge each and every one in the community, because in whichever way that you guys are doing it, it is, what you are doing is courageous.
Mm-hmm.
What you are doing, each and every one, is embodying the courage. You know, I know Hillary's done. I know Hillary's been out there with placards, not necessarily now, but with the fracking and you know, sort of that sort of stuff a couple of years ago. That takes courage to stand there in front of the bulldozers that are coming in, you know, to take over the land and hold that position, like the guys at Standing Rock trying to protect against the pipeline. You know, it's all of that. And I think there are different
Wasn't quite
ways.
that brave.
I know.
I mean, funnily enough, I was there, you know, at the beginning of one of the camps, and there was a photographer just clicking all the. I mean, somebody had made a beautiful banner, and you know, she'd let me hold it, and I was the one that got my picture around. You know, the newspapers, you know, and I hadn't really done anything except.
You're a marked woman.
But yeah, no, it's being there though, isn't it? That's the thing with your energy, and yeah.
If that is where your heart is taking you, you know, and I think that's what's important to recognize is that we have the courage to follow that flow, to follow the heart impulse, wherever that actually needs to take us, and whatever that means.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I've always felt like a free spirit, you know, and I've been able to follow that wherever it took me, you know, and even to do it without much money as well, and that's that trust, you know, that you're everything's gonna work out somehow. Yeah. It's strange. The money thing is a strange one. Yeah.
That, I think that's it. And I think it's bringing back an appreciation of just what it takes to do that, because we think, okay, well, this isn't really that difficult. You know, we don't think it's that courageous until we meet somebody who is so stuck and enfolded in their fear when their heart wants to take them somewhere else, that perhaps, you know, it gives us an opportunity to see ourselves in a different way and to really appreciate ourselves and our light and our capacity for who we are and for where our life has actually taken us. You know, I sometimes say, well, it didn't take courage. It's like stepping in where fools fear to tread, you know, or angels fear to tread kind of thing.
I've never felt like I fitted in.
Right?
I never really fit into normal life, really.
Thank you.
That was such a beautiful poem, and I felt it was, somebody wrote a poem for me, and then somebody wrote a poem for all of us, and I just loved it. I just loved it. And you know, Hillary, you were standing with your friend's placard and having your picture. I mean, all of the things that everybody's doing, and getting up and leaving Oregon and Ashland, a beautiful place until it burned a lot, I guess. And everybody's doing what they need to do.
Yeah.
With courage. And I had a conversation with my daughter, Pamela, yesterday about courage. And it was sort of interesting because she said, well, Mom, how did you have the courage for this and for that? And Pamela said, you know, I always knew that you almost died 2 times before I was ever born. And so I always prayed extra for you. Mm-hmm. And I said, that is so sweet. And she said, no, I just always knew it. And she said, I don't think you told me. And I said, no, I never told you. And she said, well, tell me about one of those times. And so I won't belabor and tell the whole story, but when I was 9 and in 4th grade, I had a ruptured appendix, and apparently it happened in school around 10 in the morning. And my mother always taught me, fight it off, keep going, you're fine. So I stayed in school and then walked a mile up the hill home and got home and was not able to go to the Shrine Circus because I was too sick to go. And mother said, well, you've got a stomach flu. And so to bed I went. But in the night, I had such excruciating pain, I was delirious. And they found me in the bathroom trying to climb up onto the ceiling, and everything was blue. I was in bad shape. So the doctor would be called in the morning, and the old family doctor came and he said, it's appendicitis, she needs to go to the hospital. So they took me to the hospital and he called 2 surgeons to come. And the old doctor came in to see me, and I was in a room by myself. And he said, I'm going to give you this silver dollar for good luck. And this is from me for good luck. And I thanked him. And I was so sick, and I thanked him. And he went out of the room. My parents were out of the room. And he talked to my parents, and I heard him say, I don't know if you believe in God or if you believe in prayer, but if you do, you must pray, because I'm not sure that I don't know that we'll be able to save Marilyn or not. We don't know. And I heard it through the door. I heard it. And a few minutes later, a big African-American orderly came and scooped me up in his arms and practically ran down the hall, put me into the ER, and they began to give me ether. And I could hear on a speaker, they were calling the 2 doctors, the 2 surgeons, to come. And they had not arrived yet from Half Moon Bay. And they'd give me a little bit of ether, and then they'd take the mask away. And everybody in there was saying, if these doctors don't get here soon, we're going to lose her before this ever happens. So I heard the whole thing. And I just remember lying there and saying, God, please save me. Please save me. And I'll go through this. Please save me. If you want me here, please save me. And so I felt that was a 9-year-old's courage to do that and not be scared, not cry. And eventually they came and did the surgery. And I had a private room and a private nurse for a week. And I had so much peritonitis in my system that they had, not sure how I was going to pull through, but they had this wonderful new drug called penicillin. And if penicillin worked, I had a good chance. So I got penicillin shots every 3 hours for 6 days, was in the hospital, took me months to pull through this whole thing, but I did recover, and I did live through it. And as a child, I just thank God for keeping me here on the earth and allowing me to stay. And so that was a child's courage. And that was what I've done. I've gone from that place and before that in my life for a long time. So anyway, it reminded me of that story that we were talking about with Pamela the other day and yesterday. And I'm just grateful for my heart letting me know, the Father letting me know, and having the strength to know that these things were all right. If I knew that, if I didn't have that inspiration, then I didn't have it. I never have gone off on my own just because I thought I should do it. But if I have the inspiration in my heart to move forward, then I can move forward and do anything, whether I like it or not. And I appreciate that you all helped me with the courage and helped booster my courage when I went through the procedure that I went through recently. And thank you for all of that. Anyway, I didn't mean to get into a long story, but that's where courage comes from, our heart. And my parents never knew that I heard that. And when I was in my 40s, my father was at my house for dinner and he said, do you remember when you had that appendicitis? And I said, oh, yes, I remember. And I told him what happened. My father just sobbed and cried. He had no idea that I had heard that. So that's where we go, wherever that feeling in our spirit, that heart, whatever that tells us. And then we all have the courage to move forward because we've learned it through our lives. And Julie, you leaving your country, and I can't imagine, and Linda leaving Oregon, and off you go, and everybody doing what they need to do and not wearing a mask when you can go in the store without it. So anyway,
Thank you,
that was
Marilyn.
such a beautiful poem that you read, and I hope that you print it and put it somewhere where we can find it.
That'd be
What
good.
that's actually what I was going to suggest as I type it up and send it to you, that you
Mhm.
can put it somewhere where you can constantly use it to reinforce your self-appreciation and self-love, and also maybe to even print it out to hand to somebody else, somebody who deserves to be able to recognize the love and the courage that they are. With, you know, sort of, some people have such challenging lives, as we know, that their self-worth is diminished and they cannot see beyond that to be able to appreciate and see the true value of who they are. And I think this just really helps to create a perspective. Thank you.
That was so
Self
beautiful,
share.
Marilyn. That was
That
so
was, yeah.
beautiful. I mean, it made my heart so happy listening to the courage, that spirit of that young girl, that light. I could so feel it. That's who you are.
Yes.
I just, oh, it's so beautiful. And I have to say thank you, Julie, for reading that, and Marilyn for sharing, because as you were sharing, I was thinking, wow, I'm not sure I'm that courageous. And part of my thing is I compare. Julie knows that. I'm like, they do that, they do that. But here's the gift that you gave me. In your gift of your little girl took me back in time again to those first 2 years of teaching. And both years, the rest of the staff all thought I was alone the first year. The second year, I had a buddy. But I knew that these kids needed something different than what they had. Both years, my kids scored the highest in the school and compared to previous years, because I had the courage as a teacher to say that they need variety. I need to teach in different ways. So thank you for the gift of you sharing you, because that allowed me to find myself back again. So thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you.
And I had no one to talk to about this because I told my mother, I heard them calling for Dr. Irving and Dr. Prindle, and she said, oh, that was just your imagination. So I never talked to anybody about this. I've never told this whole story till yesterday, talking to my daughter and now sharing with you. And I had told my father some of it when I was in my early 40s. And he cried, but this is the difference with all of us. We don't fit in. We don't have all these people that we can share with as children. Until now. But oh yeah, I have people now I could, but as children, we didn't have that.
No.
Most of us did not have that. And we grew up and we became strong anyway.
But look at your gift of sharing it 3 times. What a gift it has been to the people you've shared it with.
Yep.
Thank you.
I think as well, you know, with this whole thing of as children not having anyone to turn to, I really feel like that we constantly went inwards, because I know I'd spend a lot of time on my own, and sometimes I was reinforcing the negative feelings I had about myself. But a lot of the time I'd go into my imagination and I would imagine there were people there to talk to, and this, that, and the other. And I think that whole, you know, when we look at our life journey, there's never been any mistakes. We were meant to keep going within, because we needed to remember who we are, ready for this time, you know. So I really feel that that's one of the reasons, and the courage we had was because we were still connecting with our true self, even if we didn't recognize that as children. But that's why we're able to be here now and standing in the world and letting everything just past us, you know, as best as we can. We get clobbered every now and then, but you know, most of it is like going past us, and we're just letting it go.
We're reinforcing and amplifying the new,
Yeah,
the new grids. Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. Oh, thank you, everybody. That was just such a beautiful sharing and such a beautiful energy that's moving through the group as a consequence of that. So I really appreciate that. So to those of you that are, the rest of you that are on mute, I don't know if you guys have got anything that you'd like to share or contribute there. No? Okay. So the other thing that I've got now is the Phoenix. And I think from what we've been discussing, it just leads so beautifully into this, the courage that it takes to give birth to become the phoenix, if you like, arising in the new form. So if you'd like to close your eyes, I'll run through this one. Okay. Phoenix, cover me in darkness, torture me with pain. From the edge of madness, that's where hope will reign. Standing on the razor's edge, wolves howl with all their might. Walk the path in blindness, guide me in a light. Come on, you greedy demons, try to take my soul away. When you've left me nothing else, there's nothing in my way. Nothing left to hurt me, nothing left to lose. My eyes can see more clearly. Now I'm free to choose. I've walked the cleansing fire. I've felt the painful stings. From underneath the ashes, I smile and spread my wings. Wasn't that a beautiful
Yes.
follow on and a reminder of what it is that we are doing, where each one of us is playing our part at the moment in terms of birthing the new human. Your wings are opening. Your inner self is smiling. Oh, that was somebody, Marilyn's. From underneath the ashes, I smile and spread my wings. So you just become untouchable because there's no fear left.
Sorry, I ran away to let Lil Ren out to potty time.
Oh, bless her.
She just woke up and got out of her Betty Bye.
Oh, sweet. Yeah.
I did
so
a
how does
painting
it-
not long ago of a phoenix,
Mm.
and it was interesting the words that came to me, and I was being shown that the phoenix rising was the, you know, the mother giving birth, and it was almost what I was showing was all the energy that her scream and the way she pushed was the force of the phoenix, and the baby taking its first breath was also the phoenix, that it was that was the energy of rebirth, and you know, and where we are now, like you're saying, and I can't remember what other words came through, but it wasn't what I expected that time, that, you know, in association with a phoenix. But it was funny because it started and it was so powerful, then I couldn't touch it. I had to keep leaving it for ages, and then I heard it's time for the phoenix to rise, and then it was like I couldn't come away from it until it was finished. So it was really interesting that I feel like with these energies that we're in now, you know, in fact somebody said to me today, what are your thoughts on what's going to happen on the 21st of December? And I don't really have thoughts on it. It's almost as though we're riding the waves as and when they come, you know, and maybe we're expecting a tsunami and it doesn't actually turn into a tsunami, it's just high waves, or maybe it doesn't come into, you know, we don't know. we just have to be prepared for what's coming and be in the best situation possible, you know. But it's interesting that I feel that, you know, that whole Phoenix Rising is about us now being ready for what's going to come, you know, and we don't know what that is, but we're here together to do that, you know, whatever it is.
Well, it's courage in the face, thank you, Rachel, of so
Mm.
much uncertainty as well, because I think the time that
Yeah.
we're moving into, it's not predetermined. The outcomes are determined by the creativity that is birthed and awoken within humanity, within us, through the waves of energy and the intensity. So I almost think that that time of predicting what it is that's going to happen or is gone. You know, it's
Yeah.
like it's the new timeline, but we don't know how it's all going to transpire and exactly what it's going to look like until that impulse arises within us, until you know, this massive burst forth from the phoenix,
Yeah.
or the inner creativity that begins to move us in another direction.
I think whatever it is that people think we're already in it, you know,
Yeah.
that's coming, we're already
Yeah.
there,
Yes,
you
I
know,
agree.
and we're moving through it. I don't think it's like one event that's going to suddenly, you
No.
know, I do feel that even this whole vaccination thing is an event to trigger more people to release the fear of it and to say, no, I'm not having that, I'm not going to do it. And we don't know yet, but we're seeing more and more. I mean, to me, I knew this a while ago. It's like, you know, like we've talked about a snowball gaining momentum and
Yeah.
size. It's unstoppable now. There is no other outcome than what is going to come with it, you know, the dismantling of this, because like you were saying in the Masters of Destiny, that sixth wave, it, you know, has to end.
Yeah.
And you know, so
Yeah.
we times are going into the new wave, into the new frequencies, and so we are basically here to hold that light so that that can be anchored in and the other can be dismantled, you know.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely. Yeah, with withstanding that. So yes, it is, and it's an organic, universal process that just we haven't lived through a time such as this
yeah.
ever. You know, even if you want to go back in history and people say we're recreating Atlantis and we're doing it, we have never lived through a time like this
No.
under these influences with everything else that is actually available for us to work with.
And I said to my mum yesterday, you know, I said to her, look at it this way, mum. Imagine the TV, and the TV was in the corner. I said, now imagine you're watching a film and you know it's a film, but you get engrossed in the you know, the film, the storyline, and you might even shout at the television or say, it's behind you, look behind you, you know, you get engaged in it. And I said to her, so imagine what you're seeing on like a huge, you know, huge screen, wraparound screen almost, you know. And it's like, we know it's going to come to an end, but you're seeing every different character, each one of us is perspective playing out. So there are so many variables because there are so many people experiencing what they need to, and it's projecting it onto the external screen so that we get to see every single person's perspective, which means there's no way you can know what the truth
No.
is because it's all the truth.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, I've said it myself many times, you know, the truth will be revealed, the truth will be revealed. Well, it's always there. But what is the truth? Because somebody having the vaccine is going to save their life. To somebody else, it's like, no way, Jose, am I having that? You know, so you can't force somebody to see what. I mean, I tried it the other day. I sent loads of people that video, you know, with the all the different doctors
The World
saying,
Doctors
please,
Alliance. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I did
don't
too.
take the medicine, you know, the vaccine. And hardly anybody responded to me, you
Yeah.
know. I mean, it was taken down
Me
off
too.
YouTube, you know. And I even dared to send it to family members who I know are running the script of the narrative. And then it's like, okay, I did my bit now.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do any more apart from hold this line where I am.
Yeah.
That's it now, you know.
It's really interesting because I did the same thing. I sent those out and I just thought, okay. And in fact, the wording I put on the message was, this is another perspective that is worth listening to, important to listen to, because then you have an informed decision that you guys can make. It's your choice. And I let it go, and I just thought, there's no more that I can do.
Yeah.
And I also have stepped back. I just haven't been on social media much for a couple of days. So
All I'm bothered about is the fact that my mum has opened her eyes. My mum is awake. My mum, I mean, she's amazing me every day, and she's saying things to
my
me
mom too.
that I have
Yeah.
told her as if she's informing me.
Yeah.
It's
And
wonderful.
to me, I think that also, Rachel, is even if we're not seeing it in other family members, it represents changes that are taking place in the familial genealogical lineage of the DNA. So it's a reinforcement. So even if we don't see it at this moment in time, it's changing the timeline. It's changing the lineage. Because you're seeing it in your mum, I'm seeing it in my mum, and I've got one or two friends who are seeing it in their parents, just the beginnings of it. And it is shifting the lineage. We're healing the ancestry also through all of that, and it's a real gift. It's beautiful to be able to see. So it's
and
like,
we have to let it
the rest.
unfold as well. I mean, we want, and what a lot of people are saying is, right, okay, get it over and done with now. Let's get back to normal. But if you're going to build a new house, you've got to take the house down. You've got to clear the rubble away. You've got to check that the foundations are strong enough for the new building. You've got to then start, planning it all. It's not an overnight job. And it can't be. And we know it's going to take at least the next decade, if not 12 years, because, from the 9 waves. But, and that courage is also having the patience to wait and not want everything, because we are in fear of, well, if it doesn't get over and done with soon and all these revelations don't happen soon, then our life could be in danger. So there's still an aspect of we're not safe yet until people, wake up to what's actually going on, from our perspective.
But that's part of it, isn't it? So the fear comes up so that we can see it, and if we work on that premise that whatever comes up is arising because it's leaving. So we see it because it's leaving. So it gives us an opportunity to actually release and let go, let it up. And it's it's an ongoing process. Thank you. It's important to just not get stuck in that reflection and in the mirror. Yeah, thank you. And courage to be patient. That's a really good one to remember. Thank you.
Well, I think because we've gone 1,000,000 miles an hour this year. I mean, every moment has been, I think every day has been a year's worth of work, hasn't it? It's not been a year. This has definitely been a multi-dimensional 12 months, less than 12 months, but it'll continue. And I mean, whether it will continue at the same speed, I don't know, because I don't know where the time is in the day. I can't do hardly anything. It's
Not
like
the only one. I'm not the only one. Oh my gosh.
No, welcome to the club. We've exactly the same issue. Yeah.
24 hours is not 24 hours.
Not
It's
anymore.
definitely, maybe it's 10. I don't know.
Everything seems to take longer.
Yeah.
To do longer.
Absolutely. Yeah, it does. It does. So with all of that in mind, I just want to thank you all. Does anybody else have anything they'd like to share before we ask Rachel to do a little bit of light language for us to take with us on our way for the next week?
Well, I've got some challenges coming up because I like to move about. I like to travel. Next week I was going to go up to Cumbria, but now they're saying, like people have been saying to me and my husband, the police are out there. They'll stop you going. They'll fine you. All this sort of stuff. So it's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, it's feel into your heart, because I actually find I mean I'm traveling up to Yorkshire next week.
Right.
I'd never even thought about it.
Yeah.
I just thought, well, I'm going, so what you can do about it, kind of thing. And I guess it's kind of how, and you have that same kind of almost a maverick kind of energy that's like, well, I'm going to do it. So it's just others, the voices around you wanting to pull you back into the old way, into their fears and their way of thinking. Because I've actually found that no matter what I've done and where I've been, no challenge, nothing, actually.
Yeah.
Over the last couple of months. So yeah, it's maybe reassessing that. Just going, okay, so what does my heart want to do?
Yeah, it was to visit some people, and there were going to be others going with us, or traveling up there, but we'll see what happens anyway, what comes out of it. But the bigger one is whether we get away in the new year or not, though.
Yeah.
Anyway. There's a lot going to happen in between here.
Now, well, that's exactly it. Things are changing on a weekly, daily, weekly basis, whatever it is. Yeah.
Anyway, it's lovely to connect with you all. It's on a weekly basis, isn't it wonderful? Thank you.
I know, absolutely. It certainly does help to keep us all sane. In the midst of the insanity, all of it.
Yeah.
So thank you, everybody. It's just been a lovely session, a wonderful opportunity just to connect and share and to acknowledge. So I'll type out these things and send them to you. So Rachel, I know how you're feeling about sharing some light language with us before we leave. How's it?
Yes, that'd be lovely.
Thank you.
So I'm going to focus on the courage. So I'm going to focus on the courage for everybody.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Just put your attention in your heart. Kia tō e shina ka at e na mahai at e te au kuia matu e shina e. Nat e au la kia nani ni wite e ma ge at e. Ana e tu e shahe ma ga ne ya tu te e. Anani hi tu ila e ne kia ma tea ya nut e shina ka it e. Yak at nia tulik e nia shahayana te I. A mahatea ui aka oia te ea mā te e nula yana ia te ui shiki at e. Ana hā mai a koia, ia ea tau ea sha. Maha nātu oia li kia ne ia, e shiwet e mā kuiat e shuia la e. Amana nuia te. Aga ni o tui shiniak ut ea mahiana uia te e. Ana o te ana hā, ana gia tuia la an ea te e. Ama hā na iok ua. Ana iti at ua shahana nut ua la ke ana a. Ama hia tuia ni I. Aga ni atu ut e shana ni ke at e mahoe. At ua naka e. Ana ma na wia te e. Shwit e ka ni ut u. Ama hana ya nut e. Shwit e ka ana a. Ana hia tu u ni I. Ahue a mako o. Aha na I tu u sh e ka. Ana mana e ta a. Nihi na wut e shi anaka anaya tu shi e. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Rosemary. Thank you.
And Julie and everyone else. Sorry.
Yes, thank you. Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
want to say thank you so much for that. Just very quickly, I was so aware of what felt like the diamond. First of all, was sort of internal flames arising within, but then also the diamond facets strengthening and becoming clearer as you were actually speaking that. That's what it felt like for me. Very profound. Thank you.
Thank you.
So as always, thank you everybody for being here. Just sending you the most love, always a special connection within the Golden Diamonds. Absolutely. And if anything changes for next week, then I will let you guys know. So if there's an opening and there's an opportunity to connect, it will be beautiful to do so. And I will let you know. We just have to see what happens over the next few days. So, beautiful. Thank you, Rosemary.
Thank
Just
you,
really
everybody.
so
Thank
great
you,
that you
everyone.
were here with your energy. Just really beautiful. Love you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.